We have a benefit problem. It's not an income problem from the state. It's a benefit problem. And I think the general public thinks, I can't believe anybody gets a pension anymore. I've got a 401k. It got killed in the stock market. I don't know what I'm going to do for my retirement. I can't believe people get a pension anymore. So I think amongst the broad general public, they've said, amen. And I think among the public sector unions, they're yelling and screaming.
And that was New Jersey Governor Chris Christie on CBS's 60 Minutes last evening. He's vowed to reform the way unions do business in his state. But is the governor right? Are government unions bankrupting America, or at least contributing to it? Joining us now, radio host Mark Levine and Jerry Boyer, CNBC contributor and author of The Free Market Capitalist's Survival Guide. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
To what extent, Mr. Boyer, do you think unions have contributed to the financial state that many states find themselves in? Are they principally responsible for it?
I'd say not exclusively, but principally. I'd say they're near the top of the list. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. You have higher than market wage scales. The states that have the highest levels of unionization are the states that are on that short list of states that are looking at sovereign debt risks. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming that we have a pay scale in the public sector that is far higher than market level, that it's busting budgets, and that has a lot to do with collective bargaining, which is probably not a good way to organize government employees anyway. I think civil service is a much more efficient way to do it. So I think it's very difficult to argue that unions are not a big part of this problem.
Mark Levine, is it really the union's fault, or is it the fault of politicians on both sides of the aisle who, year after year, time after time, have said yes to practically everything the union wants because they're afraid of taking a strike from the union?
It's neither. It's the fault of Wall Street that created this recession. Look, we had investors spend and gamble tens of trillions of dollars on credit derivatives, causing the Great Recession. To blame the unions for Wall Street's drunken binge, I mean, they went drinking and unions got the hangover.
I'm sorry.
But here's the point.
We're talking about the state of the state's finances, which
why are the state's finances hurting?
Did someone wire this channel? How did we? How did we go from unions? How did we go from unions to Wall Street?
I'll explain. Why are the states hurting? The states, let me explain. Let me explain the connection if I can.
Have been building up for
ridiculous.
Decades. These liabilities go back into the 1970s. It's got nothing to do with the financial meltdown of 2 years ago.
All right, the states were doing
the subject.
Are you telling me that the states are not in trouble because of the recession? That their structural deficit has nothing to do with the recession? That's ridiculous. Every economist knows that when you have a massive recession. Hey, will you let me explain? Will you let me finish?
Let's let Mr. Levine get a point in here. Go ahead.
You asked me a question.
You
asked me a question.
No,
the question
I'm trying to explain
does the
why
structural deficit have anything
and you're not
to
letting
do
me
with this
respond
problem?
because you know I'm right. If you'll let me respond, I will. Okay.
No, Mark, you asked me a question. I'm trying to answer.
You're
but
not
filibuster all you like.
You're not
going
to let me finish. Thank you.
Please.
The reason
would you please finish then?
Mark, you have 15 seconds, and Mr. Boyer, you have 15. Mark,
the reason why states are facing massive deficits is because of the recession. They are structural deficits. Whenever you have a recession, states take less money in and have to pay more money out. That has nothing to do with unions. That has to do with the structural deficit. Now, the federal government gave a lot of money to the states on the stimulus package.
That's
but the
15 seconds?
Okay. Cut it
Jerry,
down.
You got 10 seconds to finish, 15 seconds to finish. And we'll take a break. Go ahead,
All right,
Jerry,
and I'll do it on time. Look, a structural deficit is not caused by a recent recession. The meaning of the phrase structural deficit is a long-term deficit that isn't affected by short-term events like this kind of market meltdown that we had. So it's nonsense to say that the structural deficit is caused by the recent recession.
This goes back decades
is the reason why we had these two shy and retiring gentlemen are going to stick around, I hope. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to light them up again. The free market Christmas kicks off. We're going to debate how to stop America from becoming the next Europe when the Kudlow Report comes right back. Mark Levine and Jerry Boyer spent their break writing their free market Christmas cards to one another. They're back now with each other. Let me turn the conversation away from the bankruptcy of the states and who might or might not be responsible to it. And let us, in the last 2 minutes of the program, drill down on the one thing, Mr. Levine, that you think could be cut massively from the federal budget to help us get on a firmer fiscal footing.
And the tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires and the estate tax breaks, and we've got hundreds of billions of dollars right there.
Mr. Boyer, what do you say?
That's not a cut. By the way, that's not a cut. That's a tax
It brings
increase.
in money.
Now, to speak to you, excuse me.
Tax cut.
He asked for a cut. You didn't give a cut. Now, I'll give some cuts. TARP, liquidated. It's $800 billion. It's wasted money. Oh, and put all government employees on a wage scale that's consistent with market level. They are something like 30% above market level. That's where most of the government money goes.
That's not true.
On that alone, we could get ourselves back. Yes, it is true.
No,
I've looked at these studies myself directly. They have very high pay scales compared to the private sector, and that's the main government expenditure. The operating budget is payroll. Do those two things, and you're back to before 2008 levels. And those are actual cuts.
Right, Mr. Levine, let me come back, because I actually sort of agree with Mr. Boyer that you didn't give me a cut. You gave me a change in fiscal policy. I mean, and you
fine. Cut corporate welfare. That's fine. The point is that more money needs to come in. Here's the thing: when you take money from Tiny Tim's healthcare and you give it to Uncle Scrooge, it harms the economy. Transferring money from the poor to the rich harms the economy because the rich don't spend it; they buy gold ingots. Tiny Tim spends it on health care. So that's my Christmas metaphor. When you rob from the poor to pay for the rich, you hurt the economy. That's why the Clinton years were better than the Bush years.
Mr. Boyer?
There's so many insanities buried in that metaphor about
basic
Dickens.
economics.
I can hear him spinning in his grave. No, it's not basic economics. It's basic class warfare. We do not transfer money from the poor to the wealthy. The wealthy, excuse me, I'd like to please answer one question without you trying to clinch your way out of this.
You got about 12 seconds.
We are talking about moving the wealthy from 35% to 40%. The poor are at a 5% income tax rate.
All right.
We are not transferring in that direction. We're transferring in the other direction.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. We have to leave it there. Mark, Jerry, we appreciate your being with us. That's it for the Kudlow Report. I'm Tyler Matheson. Thanks for watching.